Anyone gonna need a break after this witness? Okay. If you guys need a break, let me know.
Thank you.
One is, sir. Yes, sir. Please stand. Raise your right hand. Face the clerk over here to your left.
Do you swear or affirm that this what you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God, I do.
Have a seat, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please tell the jury your name and spell it?
My name is Kevin Branch, Kevin,
Where do you live, Mr. Branch?
I live in Ocala.
Are you employed?
I am.
What kind of work do you do?
Real estate.
Did you know Tim Smith?
I did.
Right. How did you meet Tim Smith?
I met Tim Smith in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous.
What was the name of your AA group?
Happy, joyous, and free.
Happy, Joyous, and Free?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what year did you meet Tim?
I believe it was 2019. I first went in there in 2018, and I believe he was a year and a few months after that.
How often would Tim attend the AA meetings?
Almost every day.
Was he very involved with AA?
He was very involved.
Would he sometimes lead your meetings?
He would. We took alternating turns chairing the meetings.
Okay. And did Tim sponsor lots of other people?
He did. He sponsored other people.
Were you and Tim close?
We were friends.
Did you know Tim's husband, Herbert Swilley?
I did.
And do you see the person you know as Herbert Swilley in the courtroom?
I do.
Can you please point to him and describe something he's wearing?
He's wearing a gray jacket and yellow shirt with a blue gray striped tie.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant?
It will still reflect.
And how did you meet the defendant?
I met the defendant the same way. He eventually came into the rooms, the Alcoholics Anonymous room, Happy, Joyous, and Free,
All right.
that we attended all together.
Did the defendant join AA at the same time as Tim or a different time?
No, it was a different time.
Was it before or after Tim?
It would have been after Tim.
Okay. About how long after Tim joined AA did the defendant come?
Approximately at least a few months.
Now, at some point, did you actually become the defendant's sponsor in AA?
I did.
And how did that happen?
He asked me if I would sponsor him, and I agreed to help him.
All right. And when was this in relation to when Tim was murdered, approximately?
Probably less than a year, but it was probably several months before.
And were you and the defendant close?
We were friends as well. I was friends with both of them.
And now you said you saw Tim quite often at AA meetings. How often
did.
would you see the defendant at AA meetings?
I would also see the defendant at AA meetings, not quite as frequent as Tim. Tim was almost an everyday meeting person like I was at the time.
But the defendant was not.
Not at that time, no.
All right. And did you socialize with Tim and the defendant outside of AA meetings?
We did go to dinners on Friday nights, usually the last Friday of the month. We'd celebrate, and we would occasionally go to brunches on Sunday morning as a group.
Okay.
So
Did you ever go to Tim and the defendant's house?
I did for a Thanksgiving dinner that we all went to, a large group of us from our AA group.
All right. Now, was there a small group of people from AA that included Tim and the defendant that spent time together in the AA meetings and then outside of the meetings, as you were talking about?
Yes, it was usually right after meetings or holidays. We served Thanksgiving dinners together, and Christmas, and things like that after the meetings.
All right. And what were the names of some of the people that were in your small group from AA that spent a lot of time together?
I would say Daryl, Larry, Teresa, Candy. There was others. It's been a little while.
Now, was it known within that group that the defendant and Tim had an open sexual relationship?
To my knowledge, yes.
All right.
But that definition could be different to different people.
Were you aware that they had an apartment for those activities?
Yes, I was.
And when is the last time that you saw Tim before he was killed?
The Wednesday night, it would have been Wednesday night, he chaired the meeting. It was a big book meeting. And I had not spoken to him in a while, but I was able to say, hey, how you doing, that kind of thing. We were putting books away, and that was the last I ever saw him.
All right. So if his body was found on a Saturday, March 25th of 2023, it was the Wednesday prior
It was
to
the
that.
prior Wednesday, yes, ma'am.
And how was he acting at that meeting?
Normal, good. I mean, he led a good meeting and everything was pleasant and he seemed to be well.
Was the defendant at that meeting?
I don't remember, but I believe there's a possibility he was. It was a large group. We probably had 60 to 70 people in that meeting.
So you're sure Tim was there because he led the meeting?
He led the meeting,
All right,
so he
but
was
not
definitely-
sure about the defendant?
I'm not sure, but I think so.
All right. Now, did you see the defendant at an AA meeting Friday, that we were just talking about Wednesday, that following Friday, March 24th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am. I sat across the room from him that day.
And what time was that meeting?
Every meeting at Happy Joyce Temporary was 5:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. So that was 5:30 to 6:30 that evening on Friday.
All right, so Friday, March 24th, 2023 at 5:30. You said you sat across from him at that meeting? The
Yes,
defendant?
ma'am.
All right.
Across the
And
room.
Was Tim at that meeting?
No.
Now describe for the jury, how was the defendant's demeanor at that meeting when you first saw him?
To me, it looked like he was red and it was something was bothering him. I could tell he was, I mean, you can tell something's weighing on somebody or bothering him.
Okay.
And so he looked reddish, almost purple in the face. That day I could tell something was wrong.
Now, after the meeting, did you talk to the defendant?
Yes, we did. Usually we walk out and then it was right by the yellow parking poles there. He seemed to open up a little bit.
Did you ask the defendant where Tim was?
I did.
Was it unusual that Tim wasn't at the meeting and the defendant was there?
Not totally unusual, but yes, it was. I mean, usually they were always together.
Okay.
And so every meeting I usually saw Herbert, Tim would be there too. Tim would. So
Where did the defendant say Tim was when you asked him that after the meeting?
they weren't speaking, is what he said. He didn't know, and I didn't. That was the first I'd heard of. Obviously, there was something going on to where they weren't speaking at the time.
Okay. Did he say why they weren't speaking?
He did not. As far as specifics,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to recall. It was something. Just they had some type of disagreement, and he did not know where Tim was. Had no idea. Mentioned something about like GPS. Tim didn't want to be found wherever he was, and like he could not track him.
So they had some disagreement and he didn't know where Tim was?
Yes, to my knowledge.
Okay. Now, what did you say to the defendant after he told you, Tim's missing, we had a disagreement, I don't know where he is?
Just my suggestion is to be patient, but still reach out at that point. And if he was really that concerned, to reach out to law enforcement for like a wellness check, or
So you
to find it.
suggested that?
If I'd had no idea, yes, that's what I would. That's what I would have done.
Now, did you reach out to the defendant the next morning, which would have been Saturday, March 25th of 2023?
I did. I felt really concerned for her after Friday night because, I just felt bad for him. And then Saturday I ran as I do every morning, and after my run I just reached out on the way home. I called or texted or then called.
You called or texted
I
the
called
defendant?
both probably.
All
I just reached out, and it's easier to call and drive than it is to text and drive. And just wanted to see if he had heard from Tim,
Okay.
hoping that everything was okay.
And what did the defendant tell you when you reached out that morning?
No, that he had not heard from Tim, but he did know where Tim's vehicle was at the apartment.
Were you aware of this apartment at the time?
I was aware of there was an apartment and about where it was, but I'd never been there myself.
So the defendant told you he hadn't heard from Tim, but his Jeep was at the
His
apartment?
Jeep was at the apartment that they both shared, yes.
Okay. Did the defendant tell you whether he went in and checked the apartment?
He said he couldn't get in. He lost his key to the apartment, but he was able to get in the Jeep. He found the keys to the Jeep. And we were worried about Tim's well-being. And so he said, don't worry, I got his pink gun out of the Jeep. There was
Whose pink gun?
Tim's pink gun.
So the defendant told you I got
He said
it.
he and his daughter went over to the apartment that night, found the vehicle, and then was able to get in the vehicle, he said. And they got Tim's gun. So, I guess at that point I was concerned whether Tim was suicidal or not. Because when somebody goes missing,
That's fine. So he told you that, and he said he couldn't get into the apartment because he didn't have a key.
said he lost the key.
He lost the key. All right. What advice did you give him at this point?
Call the police again.
All right.
I would call, I mean, if you
Did
know,
you give him any advice about breaking into the
I
apartment?
would go in the apartment, yeah.
All right.
If that was my spouse or my loved one, I would want, if something's wrong, I'm concerned for their well-being, I'm gonna get in there.
All right.
Especially if we shared that apartment.
So you tell him all that and tell him to call the sheriff's office. Did you speak to him again after that phone call?
Yes, he did, after we hung up that call, I believe I remember him telling me that he did call the police, and they were on their way. And by this time, I'm already cleaned up, and I was going to meet Larry and Teresa for breakfast, brunch. And I said, look, I'm not far, would you like me to come over there? And he said, no, my dad's already here.
He said his dad was already there.
Yes.
And so then what did you do?
I went to Daryl's Diner on the boulevard with Larry and Teresa, and then right when I pull it in, he called me again, and that's when he told me the police were there, they found Tim, and he's gone.
So he said they found Tim and he's gone.
Yes.
Did he tell you anything else about how Tim had died?
At that moment, that's when he was slightly emotional on that call, right after that, and he alluded to, and I can't remember specific words, but like suicide or potential overdose or something, and I didn't have any thoughts of any foul play at that point.
So you don't remember the exact words he said, but whatever he told you made you think he had committed suicide?
I felt like Tim had been in the hospital multiple times with heart issues, so it could have been anything. But I really thought that he was either potentially suicide. In recovery, unfortunately, a lot of people don't make it. So.
Was that a shorter conversation you had when you found out that Tim?
It was because it was a little emotional for both of us, I think.
All right. And when is the next time you spoke with the defendant after that call when you learned Tim had died?
It was late that night. It was a lot of us started to realize Tim was gone. Tim was dead. And then I knew that at breakfast. And then I went to an AA meeting, same Happy Joyce and Free home group. That whole group found out that Tim was dead at that point. And at that point, we all think he's suicide or overdose. We don't know. We lose so many people in recovery. So I'm laying on my couch that night at probably approximately 9 p.m.
Hold on. Wait for a question before you start saying stuff, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead, next question.
So when is the next time you spoke with the defendant? Around what time?
It was around 9 p.m. that night.
Okay, that's Saturday night.
Yes, ma'am.
All
I woke up. I fell asleep on the couch and woke up to it.
All right. Did he call you?
Yes.
All right. And how was his demeanor on the phone when you talked to him at this time?
Much calmer, calm, cool, collected. Sounded at peace.
All right. And during this call, did he tell you how Tim had died?
Not at first. He was just, that he believed that they were accusing of him, like the detectives or whoever was there, like law enforcement was accusing him at that point.
Did he tell you that foul play was suspected?
I asked, and that's when he confirmed it was foul play.
Okay.
And then I was in shock.
All right. That he said he was a suspect.
I wouldn't use the word suspect, but they were questioning him already.
Did he say anything about the keys to the apartment during this conversation?
There was a mention of a key. He told me that somewhere that his dad was in the apartment, and there was like a key on a counter, and he was able to cover the key and put it in his pocket. So I don't know what key that was.
All right. But he told you his dad at some point was in the apartment and took a key?
Yes, he saw a key on the counter and slid over to it and slid it off, covered his hand and put it in his pocket.
Now I want to move on to the next day, which would be March 26th of 2023, this Sunday morning, the day after they found Tim's body.
Yes, ma'am.
Early that morning, before 6 a.m., did you get on an app called Grindr?
I did.
Okay, what is Grindr?
To me, it's like a personal or social media app with people on it.
Like a dating app to meet people?
Yes.
All right. Did the defendant have a profile on Grindr?
Yes.
Now, when you're on Grindr, can you tell if another person that has a profile is actively on the app or live on the app?
I think so. It had a green light that said online now.
Okay. So if a green light's on that person's profile, that means they're live on the app.
I believe so.
All right. Now, when you got on the Grindr application that Sunday morning, right after Tim's body was found, did you notice if the defendant was live on the app?
Excuse me 1 second. Are you saying Saturday or Sunday?
I'm sorry, Sunday.
Sunday morning, when I got on there, I saw the defendant's face with a green Online Now button.
This is Sunday morning, March 26th.
Sunday morning before 6 a.m.
Okay. Live on the Grindr app.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, shortly before Tim was killed, did you become aware that the defendant and Tim were having problems?
The Sunday before, we were at brunch, so that would have been a week prior, and that's when I found out Tim was in the hospital. Herb came to brunch with us.
Okay, so you were at brunch on the Sunday before Tim's body was found.
Yeah, at La Cuisine around 11 a.m.
All right, and Tim was not there because he was in the hospital.
Tim was in the hospital.
Was the defendant at this brunch?
Yes, the defendant was at the brunch with us.
Were other people from your AA friend group that you told us about at this brunch as well?
Yes, everyone sitting at our long table was in our AA group.
Now, while you were at this brunch, did you overhear a conversation the defendant was having with somebody else that was at that brunch?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and was that conversation about his relationship with Tim?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what did he say during that conversation that you heard?
I overheard, and the table's talking, but I overhear his voice, and I could tell he was emotional and getting angry, and he was venting about Tim possibly moving to Ormond Beach or DeLand or something, taking a job somewhere, and that, but he and Jordan weren't going to go there.
So you said venting and angry during
I
this?
could tell he was emotional, yes.
All right. And so he was saying that if Tim was going to take a job in Ormond Beach and he and Jordan were not going.
As a possibility,
All right.
yeah.
All right. And did he say where he and Jordan would be if he and Tim split up?
They just weren't going with him,
They were going to stay in Ocala?
I guess. It's the first I'd ever heard of anything like that.
And did you stop communicating with the defendant not long after that?
We did stop communication shortly, like either right after that or at that time.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions, John.
Cross-examination, please.
Yes, please. Did you and Tim Smith have sex?
No,
Grindr, the application that you mentioned that Herbert was on the Sunday after Tim Smith's body was found, you can also message on that application, correct?
I believe so, yes.
You can use it kind of like a Facebook Messenger.
It's similar to Messenger, yeah.
And you have used that application for how long, if you know?
I don't know, but I had been on it a few times.
Okay. And you mentioned that you met Tim Smith through the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous probably in 2019?
I believe so.
Okay. And not long after that is when Herb came into the rooms.
Shortly after, yes.
And eventually, you became Herb's sponsor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at the time of Tim Smith's passing, Herb was still in your AA group.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And the conversation that you overheard at La Cuisine, that was the week prior to Tim Smith's body being discovered?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
So the weekend before?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Okay. And were you talking to Herb when you heard that information, or you just overheard it?
We're at a long table, and I was sitting here, and Herb was down to my left, a couple of people down, and so I heard him. But because of the intensity of the words, I looked over and listened.
Do you know to whom Herb was talking at the
I
time?
believe to Teresa and Daryl.
Okay. No further questions.
Need to redirect.
No, Your Honor, we'd ask that he be excused.
You're excused, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.